Hotep, y'all. It's your boy Rhythm Phoenix coming back at you again from the book, The Shamanic Wisdom in the Pyramid Text, i.e. the shamanic roots of the pyramid text, dealing with the section of called the sarcophagus chamber text, and this is part 4, so this would be part 8 of my talk on the book. Going through as much as I can of the book. It's a pretty thick book, so also, again, the book is authored by Jeremy Naydler, who is a PhD and is a philosopher, and has for many years been interested in the religious life of ancient cultures. Blah blah blah. So, real quick, here we go. This is very important in my understanding because I relate this with the actual 7 churches, i.e. the 7 chakras or chakras, or the Sanskrit word for will. And I believe that these are more than just what they call turning will, rotating will, W-H-E-E-L. They are not the endocrine glands, but they literally are floating above and behind, or in the front and in the back of the body, that the surrounding ethereal body of the human being. There are 7 primary chakras that once opened, awakened, vibrated in better tones than usual. That the third eye is open by the rubbing of the pituitary, or by the vibration of the pituitary gland, and you get to see a whole nother aspect of this reality. Basically, you wake up to the bullshit, you see, which is extreme. You know what I mean? So part 4, this is called the anointing, which is the virtufying blessing with the 7 holy oils, dealing with utterances 72 through 78, utterance 79 and 81. Okay. Again, I relate this is a note that I put beside the paragraph, relate to ethereal 7 chakra system. Okay. This is very key. So, the 4th ceremony in the Unas liturgy begins at the west end of the 2nd register. See figure 7.1. Okay. It is the anointing with the 7 holy oils, utterances 72 through 78, which have the effect on the mythological plane, okay, of filling the eye of Heru, utterance 72. As we have, now remember, the eye of Heru is in reference to the pineal gland and the surrounding areas of it. Okay. Also understand there's a whole book called Melatonin. I forgot the subtitle, but it's a little book. I think it was written in the 80s. Has a lot of information in it. I'll get back to you on that. Melatonin, serotonin, they both are melanin, forms of melanin. Okay. So, as we have seen mythologically, the Eye of Heru is torn out by Seth in their battle for supremacy over Egypt. And I take this as being the battle between the elite people that run this world and the people who are out here waking up trying to change the world for the better, and the diluting of just massive amounts of just bullshit, polluting the chakra system of all individuals on this planet unless they become aware of it. Because there's many ways they're doing this, but the 2 prime aims or targets of the elite is the endocrine system and the central nervous system. So studying endocrinology and the central nervous system will wake you up to this mysticism of ancient Kemet, and it will align you with how the 7 chakras are aligned with the primary endocrine glands, basically the whole endocrine system, okay, as well as entwined into the central nervous system. Okay. So here we go again. The act of Seth tearing out the Eye of Heru plunges the night sky into darkness for the Eye of Heru. Cosmically understood is the moon, the heavenly body that illuminates the night. This is also in reference to Tahuti, who represents intellect, and or intuition. Okay, he says it following this line here. It is Thoth who finds the eye shattered into fragments, and having resembled them, now these fragments that the moon has been shattered into, as in reference to the eye of Heru, which would be the left eye, the right eye will be the sun. This is in reference to the ancient Osiris being chopped up by Set into 14 pieces, and we know that the moon has 28 phases, or 14 and 14, and then the full moon phase. So and then the transition of 3 to 3.5 days of it going back into its phase of waning. So it wanes and waxes within the 28 to 29.6, I think, period. So this is none other than in reference to the eye of Heru being the body of Osiris, which Bobby Hemmett says is none other than the god of melanin. He's the lord of the perfect black. So just please do your research on that. So these shattered fragments are gathered by Thoth, and having reassembled them, causes the moon to reappear after its short period of invisibility, i.e. eclipse. In so doing, Thoth restores harmony and wholeness, both macrocosmically and microcosmically. On the microcosmic level, the restoration of the eye signifies the consolidation of spiritual power in the king, i.e. the human being's awareness. Through the application of the seven, which resides within the head or the crown chakra, through the application of the 7 holy oils, then the eye of Heru is filled. This is the mythic event that is activated by the application of the holy oils. In Utterance 77, we read that through the anointing, the king becomes an Ach, shining spirit, or enlightened one. Okay, that's my saying, enlightened one. Okay, with Sekhem, power. Okay, now think of the word Shem, him. It's the 72 divine names in Kabbalah. The Shem, Memshara, I forgot the name. We'll get back to that, but y'all know what I'm talking about. The first word in it is the Schem, which you can clearly say Shechem or Shem. Okay. These are the powers within the body, or within his body. Okay, the kings. So that's every man and woman is a king or queen. The word queen is Candace in ancient Nubia. The word for body here is jet, the living body rather than the corpse, which was probably called Khat. Okay. Now here he's breaking down the 7 oils in figure 7-8. The 7 oils from right to left. Secheb, meaning perfume, festival perfume. Hekenu oil, Sefetch oil, or Sesefetch in Utterance 74. Nechenim oil, Tua oil, Hat Ash oil, which is cedar oil, and Hat Techehenu oil, which is Libyan oil. This is from the tomb of Pet Amin Apet. Okay, now let's see here. In this utterance, which is utterance 77, the king is addressed as Horus, the living king, and the text is concerned with his attachment or attainment of both spiritual and physical power. In the other holy oil utterances, 72 through 76 and 78, the king is addressed as Osiris, but it is important to bear in mind that the king's identification with Osiris may have been only temporary. In the said festival secret rites of Niu Sere, for instance, during which the living king underwent an Osiris identification, we know that Sesefetch oil, referred to in Utterance 74, was used. The oils that were offered were composed of many different substances mingled together. Their names are descriptive of their healing properties rather than indicative of their composition. Thus, the Sesefetch or the Sesefetch oil of Utterance 74 could be translated as soothing oil, and was offered with the words Osiris Unas, except the eye of Heru, on account of which he, i.e. or Horus or Heru, suffered. The Nechenim oil of Utterance 75 had protective properties. It could be translated as keeping safe oil, and was offered with the words Osiris Unas, except the eye of Heru, that he, possibly Thoth, has kept it safe. There is here a paronomasia, or play on words, between the verb used at the end of the sentence, chenim, and the name of the oil, nechenim oil. This paronomasia is to be found in several other of the holy text, of the holy oil texts, and we shall meet it again in later utterances, where it has the effect of magically enhancing efficiency on the ritual act. Real quick, figure 7-9. There's a vignette of the offering of linen cloth. The clothing of the king symbolizes his rememberment after the Osirian dismemberment. This is from the tomb of Pet Amin Apet, and clearly the priest has what we would consider to be some type of lion cloth. Okay. After the holy oils, linen is offered. The offering of the rolls of linen in utterance 81 has the symbolic significance of clothing the king as a resurrected Osiris. Okay, the cloth, remember, think about the shroud of Turin. The cloth is provided by the cloth goddess Tayet, who has here the role of Isis, mythologically weaving, as in the goddess Anat or Neter Anat, the weaving the dismembered parts of the body of Osiris together again, thereby making him whole. So the goddess says, I will make you whole, you know. The clothing of Osiris could be regarded as the feminine counterpart to the filling of the Eye of Heru. It marks the successful accomplishment of the Osirian process, this feminine counterpart, okay, that gives the cloth. Process of reconstitution after dismemberment. So we could think of the goddess Tayet as actually representing an aspect of Mary Magdalene and the Gospels. Okay, thus the stage of the liturgy would seem to correspond to the phase in the Osirian rites when the king is awakened. Okay, we know that in the said festival, secret rites of Neosere, linen cloth was offered to the king. So once again, the context of this offering is not necessarily funerary. Now, real quick, and that ends that section. If anybody has studied the culture and the people known as the Zapotec and the people known as the Olmec, which are the people known as the Xi, which Mexico is named today after the Xi people, as in Mexico, you will know that these people were predominantly African and probably mixed with a bunch of other seafaring people who wanted to travel with them to the South America region and possibly even North America, and that one of the primordial or one of the main ancient symbols for their deity, for their main deity in those days, the Olmec, the sheep people, the rubber people, was resembled the power. So basically it was this: they utilized the symbol of the jaguar or the jaguar, okay, to represent the power of the priests, okay. And we also know that the word shaman seems to be derived from South America, okay, and we'll get back into that. So this is very key when connecting the world civilization of what we would call Atlantis or Lemuria, or the ancient world, and connecting it from Africa to South America, okay, and even to Asia, okay. So I'm going to end it right there. I'm going to come back with some more information out the book. This is Rick Phoenix, y'all. This is all wisdom, y'all. Ashe.